So it has been my pleasure to get to serve the Lindale Chamber and these inaugural participants in Leadership Lindale. And as I think about it, there's three words that come to mind: grateful, impressed, and intentional. Grateful, impressed, and intentional. And the first group that I think I'm grateful for is the board and Shelby for having the vision for a Leadership Lindale program. And I want to read the mission. The mission is to develop, connect, and inspire diverse leaders who build a strong and vibrant community. And it was the vision of the board and Shelby to really create Leadership Lindale. And then there was a fabulous committee that about 12 months ago, and Shelby's going to mention who those are and identify them here in a minute, but they were fabulous to work with to really build everything from the mission and the direction to selecting the great participants who really will set the stage for years to come with Leadership Lindale and then truly make a great impact in this community. But I'm also been so impressed with this inaugural class. This group, you know, they didn't really know what they were getting into, you know. Everybody else from here on will have somebody that they can go to and say, so what's it really like? And what it really happens. This group, you know, they were pioneers and they really stepped in. But then also the intentionality of Shelby, the board, that committee, as we have gone through and said, what is the absolute best program that we can create in order to both foster greater leadership, but also allow them to see and connect with what's going on here in Lindale so that we can address issues that need to be addressed and we can strengthen areas that need to be strengthened. And so it has been an absolute fabulous year. And I am a little sad that it's going to end today, but I'm so excited because the best part is yet to come. And that's getting to see these 14 participants make their mark and make the impact that they are really meant to be and really meant to make. So it has been an absolute pleasure, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Hello, it is so good to be standing here in front of all of you. And yes, when we fill out the application, this was not on the list. I would not have chosen this, but I am so honored to be chosen for this class and get to be here. And I thank you all, this amazing group that we've gotten to know so well. They gave us a list of questions to answer, and I already broke the rules because I've changed them around. So the first question was basically, what have I seen in myself the biggest impact of this class? And what I have really, there's many different answers, and I'd be here a lot longer than my allotted time. But the thing I came up with was my scheduling. I am great at saying yes, and I'm very poor at saying no. And so, but I've also learned no doesn't mean no never. It can be no, not now. And I think looking at my schedule and what can I do and what is my best yes. So that is the best thing that I think I've taken away from this. The next question is things that, one item to focus on more after our discussions, because during our classes we have discussions about, I can't go through it all, but basically Brian leads us through, you know, personal development and basically personal development in all kinds of different ways. And, but it's also ways that will help us in our community. And my biggest takeaway is how I can help. I am the president of Society of St. Stephen's, and this is my first year there. And I've been on the board for like 15 years, but it hadn't really had a lot of agenda that goes along with it. And so I've taken this class to help me develop, you know, what we can do, how to help grow that group. And the other thing I learned is to listen when I am in front of my group or the business, and I realized I forgot to introduce myself, but is listen to everybody's why. That is something I really need to work on, but also the other team members on listening to their why. And so that's something I really want to develop. Biggest takeaway. I'm going to introduce myself now because it fits into my story. I'm Kathy Beard. My husband's Jason Beard there, and my office manager is Sarah Coffin. We own Hideaway Small Animal Clinic. We've all three been there 26 years, so we know each other quite well. And but my biggest takeaway is if you walk into our exam room and you bring an animal, you're going to meet my receptionist, you're going to meet a few of my assistants and a doctor. But when you walk out, I hope everybody has a great experience, but that's all you really know about our clinic, is what happened during your transaction. But if you came into my office and spent a full month and you saw all the ins and outs of our operation, you would know a lot more about how we operate. Hopefully it's always going to be positive that as well. But you would know how we do things and why. And that is what I learned through Lindale Leadership. I grew up here, I went to school in Lindale, and I've always known it's the best town ever. But really, what did I know about it? Not much. I know it has an amazing school because, and I know that, the achievements of the school, but it stops there. And what I got to learn here is, number one, Shelby, and I call them the dream team, they're beyond amazing. And what they do for this community has no words. And, but there also are other people, the way the history of and the forwardness of the hospitals, there's so much networking that goes on in large businesses that I had no idea they ever talked. But it's amazing to learn about the community, to hear from the sheriff's department, to hear from the lawyers, to hear from politicians, all the things that I wouldn't have ever had the opportunity to do. But one thing that happened, I'm not sure my time frame, but I'll be really, I don't have much. We had a food drive at Walmart led by Jimmy Owens. He does this all around the country, and it's a 4-day food drive. And the first day, when we were closing up, he looked at me and said, "Come here, look at what all food we took in." And he said, "Never in my life have I seen this kind of food drive." And he does 2 a week, pretty much. And I looked at him and said, "Well, Lindale shows up." And then the last night, the 4th day, we had food. It was a food and diaper drive. We had beyond what you can imagine, through horrible weather, of course. But he's like, "Oh my." And I don't know, we had close to 50 people to help us unload the trailer to move it. And he's like, "Never have I seen anything like this." And again, I said, Lindale shows up. So that's my deal. The next question would be to you, why Lindale Leadership? Why would somebody want to apply? And I just say you really get to learn what happens in Lindale. You learn about yourself, you learn about how to help others, you learn about nonprofits. We have over 50 just in Chamber of Commerce, and you just get to learn. And you get to learn why, and you get to learn how to help others. So, thank you.
Good afternoon. How's everybody? All right. So I'm glad to see some familiar faces because it kind of helps those that are kind of nervous like myself. But for those that I don't know, my name is Kendrick Brooks. I'm the owner of Brooks Agency, and we help small businesses with their employee benefits and everything. So not to talk about that, we're going to talk about Lindale, Leadership Lindale today, and one of the biggest things, you know, kind of like Kathy said, that we were able to learn a lot about ourselves. So what I know about myself is that I like to talk. I'm in sales, so I have notes here to help keep me on track with all of this. And I'll just kind of start with my biggest takeaway from my experience. And it's just that, just the overall experience of this class. From the beginning, when Shelby did a great job of keeping this a secret, right? We was in a setting like this, not knowing who was going to be a part of this class, right? So she calls us up, and we all come up here, and then I find out, you know, the 13 to 14 other people who are going to go on this journey with me. And I think about the retreat that we went on, and just each class each month, and how we got to know ourselves better and got to know each other better. And what I've also seen with that is some of the changes that I've seen as a leader. When I signed up for this, my ultimate goal was to how to grow as a leader, how to make myself a better leader for my organization. And, you know, the skills that I've learned, the lessons that you know, Brian has done a great job of challenging us every month to not just learn a topic that he's talking about, to actually put it in action. And so that was something that is, you know, which helped me, you know, my goal, which is to be a better leader. The other thing I would talk about is just one of the items that I wanted to kind of pick out that he did talk about, that I wanted to focus on as I continue after this leadership class, is communication. Because it didn't matter if we were talking about conflict resolution, if we were talking about networking, or just our personalities and how to deal with people whose personalities are not like ours. Communication was the overall theme of that. And so, you know, as someone that I have an agency, we have 10 agents that work for me, we have, you know, hundreds of clients that we're dealing with. Communication is key. And what I've been able to do is take these lessons that I've learned and the things that have been important to us and applied it to my agency. And I've seen not only myself grow as a leader, but I've seen agents in my office grow as leaders also. The one thing that I thought was pretty interesting that I didn't know I would get out of this class was just learning about the community, learning about you know, Lindale in itself and different organizations. And the first thing is that, and I know everybody in here will probably, you know, agree to this, is that we're blessed to live in a great community. We have a lot of things that we can be proud of here. And one thing, and the second thing I learned was that we have a lot of nonprofit organizations out there that you can be a part of, that help serve a lot of the areas that are needed, that are needing help in our community. So. The last thing that I'll touch on before the next verse comes up is that, you know, is why would somebody want to join Leadership Lindale? And I got two things that I would just tell them is that, number one, you're going to grow personally and professionally. I'm a testament to that. I'll stand up here and, you know, screaming from the mountaintops. We will, you know, you will get stretched out of your comfort zone, as you'll see from everyone that comes up and talks. This is not in everyone's comfort zone to talk in front of a group of people. So somebody's going to get challenged in their professional and personal life. And the second thing is it's going to give you a different perspective of Lindale. You're going to hear from leaders, you're going to hear from the way that cities and governments, the way that it runs, and the nonprofits that I already talked about. So as I close, just want to say thank you to Brian and Shelby just for what they poured into us over this period of time. Thank you to my classmates who I've gotten to get to know really well. And the great thing about it, and I think it's pretty memorable, we're the inaugural class, right? No class would ever be like us. I almost, you know, I chose a song because I like, you know, like Bruno Mars, of course, and it kind of gets you in a good spirit. I almost chose a song that a good poet by the name of Kendrick Lamar, right, has my name with it. He has a song that's called Not Like Us. So with our class, there will never be a class like us, okay? So thank y'all.
So those of you know me, or maybe don't know me, I don't follow rules very well, so I kind of walk to the beat of my own drum. But for those who don't know me, I'm Zane Brown. For those who do, I'm sorry, or you're welcome. I don't know which one that is. In prep for this speech, I asked my wife for some advice, and she's back here today, but the only advice that she offered was that I don't embarrass her. So I'll do my best, but no promises. You know, we've been in the, Brittany and I have been in the Lindale community for the last 12 years. We've been business owners of Craig's Dirt Service for the last 7 years. And as if we didn't already have enough on our plates, about 2 years ago, I convinced her that we should start another company called CDS Utilities. So that really adds to our portfolio to perform complete site development. So we do everything from dirt work to water, sewer, storm drain, new subdivisions, driveways, house pads, you name it. So that's kind of a little bit about me and what I do for a living. But when we had the opportunity, this class, we had the opportunity to apply for Lindale leadership, I kind of had a shoe in. My wife was on the board, so she got me in. I didn't really have to apply very well.
That's not true.
Joshua tried to keep me out. He tried to keep me out. So when we talk about leadership, we talk about building authentic relationships rooted in service. Leaders don't just direct, they connect, they listen, and they uplift others to achieve a shared purpose. And that's something that we've really, as a group, have taken to heart, and Brian's done a great job of working with that for the last 9 months. And when we talk about takeaways for you know, what we've learned and what we've done, one thing I've realized is this group of leaders along the wall over here has a true passion for a better tomorrow. They truly want to be the change, and I hope and encourage and honestly know that this desire to make each other better and our community continues to grow. And it's been an honor and privilege to do this with them. When we talk about some changes and some impacts that this class has had on me, wasn't talking loud enough, has had on me personally, you know, it's given me the opportunity, Lindale Leadership has given me the opportunity to really gain a perspective, gain perspective about each other, to gain a perspective about our community, and those we interact with every day. You know, I think we get blindsided, or we get, you know, lenses or rose-colored glasses, and we don't always see what's out there. And so it was an interesting experience to see people from other industries, from education to healthcare to you know, judges and mayors and bankers. So it was all exciting to see a different perspective in the lens of which they see everyday life. And the other thing was just being more aware of people's behavior styles and how they prefer to be interacted with. Typically, I'm somewhat loud and kind of in your face on a one-on-one or a small group setting, and so not everybody in our group, as you'll experience a little bit today, they're not people. They're a little more introverts. So. How about this? Let's go. There we go. Okay, good. So something, I'll try to talk a little lighter then. Something I personally want to focus on is time management. And if you know me, you know I chase squirrels. So I take the hot topic, the fire that's burning, and so time management's been something that's really been instrumental over the last few months of really putting that to practice. But I also want to develop more leaders, develop leaders where we live, work, and play, something that we never stop growing as a community. And the fact that we need to remember that something that I tell our team pretty often is that our comfort zone is the most dangerous place to be. And as y'all can tell, I'm not a big fan of public speaking, but here we are. So I probably wouldn't have signed up, but I know that too. But this is out of my comfort zone. Some things that we've learned about the community, what a blessing we truly have. You know, a community that cares for each other, that wants to see each other thrive, and that supports their own. And people and leaders in this community, they want to make it a better place. And so I would encourage you, if you're considering applying for Class 2, that I would recommend the networking, the camaraderie, just the education, and not to mention the people that you get to interact with, and the privilege that you have to be around those people that want to see the best version of you and challenge you to be that. Thank you.
I didn't write that song, but I did pick it. Each month, Shelby had us pick a song that would be our song that she would play during the course of the training and stuff. And I tried to surprise her a couple of times with songs that she would think I would never listen to. It was fun. Anyway, good afternoon. My name is Mike Combs. I'm the owner of the Combs Complete Lawn Care here in Hideaway in Lindale. First, I want to thank Shelby, the whole leadership team at the Commerce, and Brian for all the great stuff that you led us through. For me, being a retired person from a big box retailer who had sat through 27 years of what I'm going to call soaring with your strengths training. I thought, now how is I'm going to learn anything else in another leadership class? But I chose to sign up. I will tell you this, from day one, Brian had my attention as we discussed our strength wheel, as he would call it. And boy, was I surprised how the way my wheel looked and how I looked at myself, it was way off. I didn't see myself as being in some of the situations that showed up on there. For me, it was a time to do as you would an old chainsaw. You pull it out and sharpen the chain a little bit to make it a little more productive. Well, that's where I was at. So I thought this is great. I'm going to be able to sharpen my skills. Through the group and through the small group and large group discussions, I found I just needed to back out of the day-to-day processes in my own company and look at things from an owner's view instead of a worker's view, which I had a lot of experience with that. And since taking that view, I have been able to make a quicker and more productive decisions as it relates to quality, equipment purchase, and staffing. I need to continue to focus on being patient, which isn't a strong point of mine, and open to feedback in order to make those decisions as an owner would make. As we proceeded through the training, I found the most educational for me was when our local government leaders got together and shared all their roles and responsibilities. I've been here for 27 years, and everything was always Gavin's problem, the mayor. But I've since found that everybody in our county government and our city government has a role, and everybody plays a part. So if we all play our part even in the school district, then things work well. But this allowed me the knowledge to help others in town to find the resources that they may need to solve an issue that's going on. And another area that I gained lots of knowledge about was the number of nonprofits. I had no idea of the nonprofits that are in this community and the impact that they make on students that go to our schools and adults. So the need is there. If you feel led someday and want to get involved with a nonprofit, just call the chamber because they need our help. In closing, I would say that if you have a servant's heart, as I do, and want to be the best possible leader you can be, and it doesn't matter how old you are, that's one thing I want to stress. When I first went in that, I asked Shelby, I said, am I the oldest guy in here? Because I'm 70, and everybody else is like 29. So I worried about the generational differences, but I'm going to tell you, 14 of us, we all learn from each other. And one of the big things for me as I continue to live is I want to help transition the moral values and things that we have in this community onto the next generation. And if we don't get involved, it's going to go away. So with that, I thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Nohemi Garza. I'm the office manager to Altra Federal Credit Union here in Lindale on Main Street, right across Berkshire's. I am very thankful and feel very honored to be part of the first class of Leadership Lindale, and so grateful to Shelby and the board for making this vision come true. And Vision 2025, I know, has been a big component of the Lindale Chamber, and being a part of this has been truly a great experience. I'm also very thankful to Brian, who did amazing leading this curriculum. So that's one of the perks that you'll get if you decide to join Class 2. My biggest takeaway from the Leadership Lindale experience has been getting to learn about the different areas and sectors that make up our community. Throughout our entire curriculum, I learned a lot from our different speakers, whether it was government, development, education, healthcare, and everything else. We got to see behind the scenes that I wouldn't have known otherwise. One item that I want to focus more on in light of our discussions is being an ambassador for these different organizations to spread positivity and to be a connector in our community. The change that I've seen in myself that has made an impact is holding myself accountable to elevated leadership skills and higher standards, as well as using my skills to promote an excellent culture in areas that I can serve. What I've discovered about my community is that each member plays a vital role in the success and harmony of our collective efforts. Each individual contributes to creating a thriving and cohesive environment. A quote from James Lovell was shared in one of our most recent classes. There are people who make things happen, there are people who watch things happen, and there are people who wonder what happened. To be successful, you need to be a person who makes things happen. Leadership Lindale was truly a great experience, and I plan to implement everything that I've learned, not only in my professional life, but also in my personal life, to continue growing as an individual who can make a positive experience. Thank you.
Good afternoon. And despite what that song may lead you to believe, my name is Austin Reeve Jackson, and I am the not a people that Zane Brown warned you about. And I say that because the first person I want to thank is whoever it was, Shelby, that made the decision to keep extending the application deadline for this class. Because I sat where I know somebody out there, probably several somebodies, is sitting today thinking, man, that could be really interesting, that could be really neat, but it could also be a whole lot of time with a whole lot of people, and that's not really my thing. And so I didn't apply. And then Shelby sent out an email saying we're extending the deadline. And I thought, man, that does sound even better the second time around. But no. And then I think it was the third time they sent out and said, this time we mean it. We're really going to enforce the deadline. And I thought, well, I'll do it because now I'm late enough, there's no way I'm going to get picked. And lo and behold, here I am as a non-people person, surrounded by people that I am incredibly thankful that I have gotten to know. And each one of these people has made a difference for me. And I'll tell you, you've heard a lot about the classes and the instruction that we've heard, but it's the conversations that have gone on in between those lectures, in between those presentations, that have really made a difference to me. And I want to talk about a particular way in which they've made a difference. That song you heard, I Love Rock and Roll, happens to be the favorite song of my two young daughters, who were 9 and 11. And one of the things in our very first class that we talked about was sort of our goals and who we were and how we identified ourselves. And we made little name tags. And at the bottom of our name, we wrote our profession, our title, and I wrote down Dad, not Judge of the 114th District Court. And I told people, my classmates, the reason I did that is because my goal for what was in 2024 was to become a better father, a more mindful father. And I thought that leadership class that I was in had nothing to do with that, but that was my goal. Well, I will tell you that leadership class had everything to do with becoming a better father, and becoming a better father had everything to do with becoming a better leader. Because one of the things that we talked about often, thanks to Brian's leadership, was how to communicate, how to listen, but more importantly, how to identify how other people communicate, how they listen, how they respond, how to motivate them, how to criticize them, how to encourage them in ways that are meaningful to them. And if you are a parent and you can figure that out about your children, it will make a world of difference. And it will make a strong family for you. And guess what, Leadership Lindale? The foundations of a good community are good families. And so while I didn't know it when I started this class, it had everything to do with becoming a better father. And becoming a better father had everything to do with helping to build a better community. My biggest takeaway from this class, in addition to that, is that leadership really isn't about standing up in front of anybody. It's not a position, it's not a title, it's about presence. It's about listening well, learning how to listen to others. And through this program, I've learned that real influence and real leadership often begins in those quiet moments where you're sitting and you're listening to your classmates talk about their businesses, talk about their problems. You don't have to add anything to be a contributor, and they don't have to be talking to you to give you something you can use. Sitting there in those quiet moments makes a huge difference. And I've seen a change in myself to trying to be more intentional about being open to those conversations. I'm more of a people person than I was when I started. I'm still not a huge people person. Joshua Johnson will put me to shame till the day I die. But I am better about it. And I've reaped the benefits from that and seen that the benefits that I can get, and I think the benefits I can offer to others. And I hope, taking from this class, to continue to help build a better community, better organizations for the community, and to impact others by my renewed understanding and appreciation of empathy and clarity, rather than leadership as merely a strategy. One area I want to focus on moving forward is collaboration, hearing those stories more, listening to the perspective of others. I think all of us who are in leadership roles in our own businesses can fall prey to believing that we know all there is to know, and that's simply not true. And others know more, and oftentimes others know better. And so it's good to help build those bridges and have those conversations, not just in people you know, but inviting others to the table and to responding to invitations to other tables as well. And so if you're thinking about Leadership Lindale today and why you ought to apply, even though you're not necessarily a real people person, I would tell you do it for your family. Do it for your community. There are a lot of us in this group who are old enough to have been in Lindale when you had no choice but to grow up here and leave, whether it was to pursue employment, pursue education, pursue development, pursue other opportunity. Lindale was a great place to be from. But what this class has taught me is that Lindale is a great place to just be. And if you like what Lindale offers, if you are proud to be part of this community, then I would say it's not only an encouragement, but an obligation to sign up for something like Leadership Lindale. Because you've heard, the next generation is coming. You can enjoy it, and it can die, or you can enjoy it, and you can pass it on. Be part of the long-term solution. Be part of Leadership Lindale.
Good afternoon, I'm Diane Kirkland. I work at Quality Investments. No, we are not an investment company. We sell pre-love, trucks, and SUVs. That's our specialty. We're in downtown Swan, but we're a part of the community. And we love it. Been there 35 years, and I've been with them 26 of those 35. I wanted to start by thanking Pam Burton, because much like Austin, the application went out like, I don't have time for that, nor would they ever pick me. You know, I love to grow and learn, but I just didn't see myself in that capacity. So Pam's kind of my little mentor, and she encouraged me, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to do it. And if God wants me to be on this class, I'll do it. And so what a blessing it has been to do that. But I also want to thank my husband, because he had to take over a lot of stuff for me to fit this in. And my best friend Tracy out there, because she prayed with me every day. Or when I stumbled to think that maybe I was in a class I didn't belong with, because of all the incredible people with me. And so she would pray with me and say, that's not true, you know. And it wasn't. This has been one of the most enriching experiences I've done. And I came into it thinking, you know, I'm a pretty good leader already, but I want to grow and continue to see. Let me tell you the diversity in this group, from the fact that Mike is older to we have a few younger ones. I mean, it's been amazing to learn from them. And so one of the number one things I learned from the classes themselves is the behavioral style. And so my natural style and my adapted style are two total opposites, which kind of blew my mind at first, but as Brian coached me a little bit, I understood where that's coming from. And so I can rock both worlds, is what I say. So I want to thank Shelby and the committee that put us up in our positions, and Brian for his phenomenal leadership and teaching us things. And when you think you know how something goes, and you have your opinions of this and your opinions of that, and then you get surrounded by your community leaders, your judges, your mayors, your sheriffs. You get the opportunity to go to the state, to the coalition, and listen to your senators and your representatives. I didn't really know half of what I thought I knew. And I just encourage you all to be having informed information on everything before you start making comments about things, because we're all entitled to our opinion, but let's make sure we know what we're talking about before we have one. So that was one thing that I had to learn about myself. I could be opinionated but not have all the facts, and you just get busy and you don't notice that. The other thing that I've learned to do is to talk less and listen more. And that just because I think it's the best idea, it may not be, so you want to be more open to the people that you're surrounded by to see if perhaps their way is better. So I'm working on that. I think I've come a long way. The team has been phenomenal. I say team, class. I call them a team, they're my team. But I've received so much perspective from the different community people that spoke to us, and from the nonprofits and the hospitals. You just don't realize what goes on behind the scenes. And so that's been very enlightening for me. Now my goals in the future are to support Shelby and the chamber, because you trusted me and voted me into the board. So I want to be the best board member that I can be. So for the next year or so, I'm focusing wholly on doing what I can to further grow the community. I would like to see Lindale grow, but at the same time, keep their hometown feel that's so full of love, and they uplift one another. Just all the different times that we have the opportunity to help our fellow townspeople. And so we need younger people to be a part of Leadership Lindale. We need older people, because we need to train the young ones up in a solid base. But we also need to learn from some of the young ones, because they look at things differently than we do. So that's my goal for the community. It's just for all of us to come together to uplift the community to a greater level, but keep us as close-knit as we are. And I know that that's possible. So thank you all very much.
My name is Cylisa Moore, and I work with UT Health, East Texas. I want to start off by thanking the Chamber of Commerce for selecting me to be part of this Leadership Lindale cohort. I'd love to thank Shelby and Brian for organizing and executing the program. I also want to thank UT Health for sponsoring me and supporting me in this personal growth process. I will tell you, I'm extremely nervous. I am not one of those who enjoy speaking in front of people, but I'm glad for the opportunity to today. I want to start off by saying, if you are here and you are a leader that is looking to either meet other leaders, or you just want to grow and discover what type of leader you want to be, or if you're trying to level up your leadership, apply for Lindale Leadership Program, because you will feel the difference it's going to make within you as a leader, okay? Some of the takeaways that I've taken from this is understanding how my personal growth and my purpose is intertwined, and that continuous learning through Lindale Leadership can help me better understand myself, others, the organization I work for, the community I live in. I want to thank Brian for the book that he co-authored with Dr. Kutash. I hope I said that correctly. I really resonated with the main character in that book. If you get a chance to read it, you should. It's inspiring. Some positive changes I've seen within myself. I've been through a lot of education, a lot of courses, a lot of things, and one of the positive things I've seen within myself is the deeper self-awareness and understanding how I can better communicate with others and listen and just be in the moment. A lot of times I find myself not in the moment. I'm everywhere all the time thinking about all the things. So to be in the moment. I also have started ways to become a better ambassador for my community, even if it's small steps like social media. I know that the Chamber does a lot of stuff, and it's just sharing their events. It's liking and loving things that are going great in your community. The things that I want to focus more on personally is becoming a more action-oriented leader. I know that I was chosen for this leadership program because I'm already a leader, but for me, I really wanted to level up that leadership. I know that UT Health has some great things planned for Lindale, and I want to make sure that with those plans that we focus on our people and what this community needs. Some things I discovered along the way in this program is there's a lot of moving parts. On the city, county, and state level, the impact the Chamber of Commerce has in this community is great. How important education is, from Lindale ISD to TJC, who I had an associate's degree with and had a very successful 17-year career being a hygienist. UT Tyler, who I'm an alumni of, and I wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for them. What I love about Lindale is that it fosters this connection within the community and realizes how important education is. Sorry, looking at my paper. You know, it fosters it, but it also it helps those people accomplish their dreams while contributing to the community they live in. I was surprised how involved the healthcare systems are here, not only working together, but working to make the community better, whether it's more and better access to care. So know that your healthcare systems want the best for Lindale and its future. I'm very excited about Lindale's economic development and growth. I do understand now why it's kept a secret. I will tell you, that's pretty important. I didn't know that before. I also discovered I can no longer blame the mayor for the downtown construction. And I've officially stopped prank calling him. Once again, I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce, and I want to thank Brian and Shelby. Thank you. I want to thank UT Health East Texas for their support again. I believe Lindale leadership has adhered to its mission to develop, connect, and inspire diverse leaders who build a strong and vibrant community. Thank you all for this opportunity.
Good afternoon. I'm Beth Purl of Beth Purl Home Design, and I have had an incredible experience with Leadership Lindale. I too applied on the last day, Reeve, so I'm right there with you. Yeah. So if you were considering, go ahead and get it in early for everybody. Don't do what we did. I am just so grateful for the opportunity. There's quite a few things that I could say are wonderful, and if you would like to know more, please feel free to come ask. But the two things that I want to share with you guys today are that, one, as a leader myself, I grew in being able to understand my strengths and my gifts, to know when to say no, just like Kathy said, to learn when to say no and when to say yes, where I can really use my gifts and abilities, and then to do a better job of asking questions to figure out where I can plug in. And so I'm very grateful for that because it allowed me an opportunity to hone in on my skills and to see where I can be the most effective leader in our community. So I'm grateful for that. I also am so encouraged by seeing all of the different groups of people, whether it be government, economic development, any of those groups working together, and how intricate that is. Many people have mentioned this, and it is such an in-depth process to make things happen. And I'm just so impressed at the way that they work so well together. And I think we often can be a little frustrated when we think things are moving slowly, or we don't quite understand everything that's happening, but really there's so much going on behind the scenes. And I'm so grateful for how hard they work. My number one takeaway in all of this is that this is a community of people who so much care about the rest of their community thriving and living really wonderful lives. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of this class. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. As you've heard, music is a big part of Leadership Lindale, so I'm going to sing for you guys today. And that's why you don't trust politicians. So, I'm Gavin Rasco. I am the mayor of Lindale. I do have a real job, but no one really knows what I do, so I'm just going to leave it there. So as I reflect about our time in Leadership Lindale, we did each month create our own personal playlist. Each month brought a new song or a lyric that shared growth, connection, and purpose. One of the biggest takeaways from this experience is the impact of community involvement, which you've repeatedly heard throughout the day. Just like a powerful lyric that sticks with you, learning about all of the local nonprofits and seeing the heart behind their work has left a lasting impression. It's made me realize that leadership isn't just about offering guidance towards others. It's about getting involved, listening to the voices around you, and finding ways to make a collective impact. So as we all applied to Leadership Lindale, everyone asked us why. Why do you want to be involved? There's a few reasons, with the obvious being the mayor of Lindale. I felt like I should probably know what's going on. But it's also my responsibility to be an advocate for this great community. We are truly blessed to live in the area that we live in. We learned about taking advantage of the powerful sessions offered by Brian and his team at Core Insights, and we could all do with extra information on becoming better leaders, better community members, and better humans, and Core Insights certainly delivered. So thank you, Brian, for that. And so while we covered an array of topics, one of the things that I wanted to personally more focus on is actively listening. Like many of you sitting out there, I've already started zoning me out and thinking about what I need to do next. And so one of the key sessions was about listening, being engaged with that person, giving them your undivided attention so that you give them, one, the respect that they deserve, and two, help them truly work on a solution to meet their needs. And so finally, what I've discovered about this community is that it does have a soundtrack of resilience and generosity. Again, you've heard that over and over. And while not everyone has the opportunity to be center stage, we couldn't be Lindale without the collective group effort that we had. As I mentioned early on, each month brought a new song. So I'll leave you with a quote from the song that I chose. While some may win and some may lose, don't stop believing. Don't stop believing in yourself, and don't stop believing that you can make a difference in this community. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Karla Richardson with Southside Bank. I want to thank you all for being here and taking time out of your day to celebrate us. I've been blessed to be a part of the first class of Leadership Lindale. It's been a great opportunity to learn and collaborate with my class members, to meet individuals that you don't normally cross paths with, and embrace learning and growing together. We all come from different work backgrounds, but we've all benefited from each other's perspective. Leadership Lindale has allowed us to learn more about ourselves and about how to grow in our current leadership roles. We've learned how to build on each other's strengths and overcome our weaknesses. We're all committed to making a difference in our community and make it a better place to live, worship, and work. I've been able to implement the skills I've learned in Leadership Lindale in my home, workplace, and my community. By being a better communicator, overcoming obstacles, strengthening leadership skills, and managing my time better benefit not only me, but everyone that I come in contact with. One thing I've discovered about my community is that there are a lot of opportunities for us to serve and participate in activities. There are a variety of nonprofit organizations in Lindale and the surrounding areas that could really use our help. There are events that are always seeking volunteers and would love to have you get involved. I'd lastly like to thank Shelby and Brian for the time they've invested in each one of us in this first class of Leadership Lindale. Not only was it educational and informative, but y'all made it fun. Thank you to each of our guest speakers who took time out of their busy schedules to educate us about their organizations. We had the privilege to hear from educators, healthcare professionals, state and local government officials, and nonprofit organizations. Also, thank you to each one of the sponsors. Lastly, I'd like to thank each one of my classmates. They were all open and honest and vulnerable, and we always loved each other, encouraged and uplifted. And so I thank you guys.
Hello, my name is Rodriguez-Freeney. I am the president and owner of Platinum Communication Solutions, local phone service provider. When I applied to Leadership Lindale, I wasn't sure what I was looking for. I knew I wanted to do something with my time because I had a lot of time. I'm really good at controlling my time, unlike my classmates. So I'm really good at saying no. And I found myself with a lot of time on my hands and nothing to do after setting up the business and have it under control. So I applied pretty quick, eager to do something. And to my surprise, I learned a lot. I learned to say yes. So I have involved myself more in the community. I learned to network more. And I don't talk much, but I have learned I'm getting better at it. As I reflect on my time in this leadership class, my biggest takeaway is that leadership is not about having all the answers. It's about developing the skills to empower others to thrive. This class has helped me to realize the leadership skills I have and how to apply them. One of the biggest impacts this class had on me is still the desire of getting involved in the community. I have always been passionate about business leadership, but now I feel called to extend that leadership into areas that serve others, especially through volunteering and supporting nonprofits with my time. I want to be present in the places that need hard, not just hustle. I want to be more deliberate about building up stronger communities, not just managing but empowering. Because legacy is not built by what we do alone, it's by what we do together. Through this process, I've discovered something powerful about our community. Our community is full of heart, full of potential, and full of people who want to grow. But we, as leaders, need to be willing to show up, speak up, and follow through. There is opportunity here, not just for economic growth, but for transformational leadership that truly changes lives. Today, I lead with a clearer vision, a deeper sense of purpose, and a renewed commitment to lead with both strategy and heart. Thank you. Thank you, Shelby. Thank you, Brian. Thank you to the committee for seeing through my shyness. I still remember when we did our interview. The viewers asked me, how was it? Like, I am not getting in. I couldn't say a word. But here I am. I got the opportunity. Thank you for it.
Good afternoon. My name is Dalton Sanchez, and I'm the branch manager at Shelby Savings Bank here in Lindale.
Just wanted to start by thanking the Lindale Chamber for putting on Leadership Lindale. Feel very honored to be part of the first class. Of course, want to thank Brian, of course, for all your leaderships, your teaching. We really appreciate it, so thank you. And of course, to all my classmates, it's been great to get to know each one of you, and you've all helped me along the way in so many different ways, so thank you. As for Leadership Lindale, it's something that's really opened my eyes to all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes in our community, like many have mentioned before me. Like all the elected officials, city leaders, healthcare workers, nonprofits, all of that. We got a chance to hear from each of them and learn just about how they all work and how they work together. Something really beneficial to me, at least, to hear all of that. The class, it kind of changed how I saw, really see leadership itself. It's, not everyone leads. I realize not everyone leads the same way, and that's okay, but, everyone can find their own style. And that's something that I want to work on going forward, is to help younger leaders, younger professionals, find that style, build that confidence so they can see themselves as leaders. So that's something I really want, that I've taken from here and I want to work on going forward in the coming years. So, with that, if you're thinking of applying at all, I'd absolutely recommend it, encourage it. It's going to challenge you, and in a good way, but it'll really show you how you can make a difference both in yourself and in your community. So, thank you.
Good afternoon, y'all. My name is Tammy, Vale. I'm with Austin Bank. I just want to say it's been a wonderful experience getting to know this amazing group that I call friends now. The tools we have taken in, the people we have met, improve our networking and getting to know just how our community works. It's been a great experience. Pushing ourselves outside the box and learning about ourselves and others. I do look forward to the opportunities to assist and be more involved in our community. As we have learned, there's a lot going on in our town. I'd like to express my thanks to Lindale Chamber and Brian Brandt for all your tools that we can carry on with our group. And to my Austin Bank family, thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity. To my husband, thank you very much for your love and support. I have to say, I've had some people inquire to me as well, is it worth it? Are you getting anything out of it? And the answer is yes. I look forward to seeing the next group of leadership, because you're gonna love it.
All right. Well, I rarely write my speeches for events. This event is too monumental to just wing it like I typically do. Today is a celebration as we watch the inaugural Leadership Lindale class graduate, and I must give a long list of thank yous. First, to the board of directors, both current and those who have served during the Vision 2025 strategic plan. When we created the plan in 2022 with Frank Kenny, Leadership Lindale was considered a capstone project. To Brian Brandt, who served as our strategic planning coordinator in 2023 and saw the project as part of the plan and initiated the conversation to launch in 2024. To the committee who worked diligently last summer to recruit the first class, Chad Goldie, Joshua Johnson, Brittany Brown, Shannon Reeve, and Pam Burton. To the staff at the office for all the support. Adding one more big capstone project to our office was a challenge, to say the least. And so these three ladies are a huge support and a huge asset, as many have already mentioned today. To the first class who were willing to navigate very uncharted waters with us. To each presenter who came from the community and represented our monthly topics. To the Pink Pistol for the opening reception and Jellystone for the retreat location. To the friends, family, co-workers, and businesses of our graduates who allowed time away each month for this program. Today, as we celebrate 9 months of hard work, dedication, determination, and achievement, I have witnessed each of our graduates excel and achieve so much, both individually and collectively, over the last 9 months. And I cannot wait to see the next chapter unfold. These are already leaders in our community, but I believe this program has given them knowledge, skills, and confidence for the future. I told them this morning that I cannot imagine waking up in June and not going to class with these 14 people, because we really have bonded. I mean, if you would have witnessed some of the interviews that I witnessed, then you would know how much it's taken them and how many leads they've taken to get up for 3 minutes today to speak. And also, I think the other thing Brian and I witnessed is that at the retreat, they were such shells of people that just were themselves. And this morning, we couldn't get them to quit talking to each other in each one of the different things. So this program truly has been a blessing to these 14 people. But what I know is in August, I'll stand right here and announce the next class. And they will begin to form those same bonds and those same enrichments. And they will get to learn so much about our community over the next 9 months. So congratulations to our 14 graduates, and thank you to Brian, and thank you to the Lindale Chamber for allowing us to have this capstone product.